She said she has to go get Isabella to work. She said Isabella.
That's so true.
I have to go to WCCC.
You sure you don't want to?
Or what was so yes, and he said, I'm thinking it August, because he said, you won't settle for the state for probably at least a month, because I'm having an auction next month, so I'm assuming he said and selling orders and stuff like that. So, he said, if you're doing good, because I told him about this, and he said, I said, it's not really my thing, but that's why I said to do that. So, but yeah, we were like, in my man script. And so I let Nessie out with the stuff I had to So I went to that today, and then when I got home, I was going to the bathroom trying to get my stuff ready for the game, so leave it tomorrow. And then I saw the I looked at numbers, and then she said, you're not keeping my same bed. Yes, that's what I said. Because now you can use for it. Whether it's a program, I said, yeah. So I'll like send you, because I know you guys send it on, but I'll like send you pictures of what they have and see what you want. Always want something, but y'all send you pictures because I told my friend she wants a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. So I'll look like this or pictures and stuff, then you can tell me. I did tell Steve heavy equipment. But you'll never have a desire to.
No, she was in January. She was started in.
Yeah, they sent me a flyer. Yeah, he had the RSVP, and then they the name of the
My dad was and so they've been just from closer to us. So that I it worked out. Yeah.
All alone, I didn't like the tears. All alone, I sat and cried. All alone, I had to find some meaning in the center of the chaos I felt inside. All alone, I came into this world. All alone, I someday die. Sun and stones, just sand and water, baby. Sand and water, and a million years have gone by. I will see you in the light of 1,000 suns. I will hear you in the sound of the waves. I will know you when I come as we all through the doors beyond the grave. All alone, I heal this heart of sorrow. All alone, I raise this child. Flesh and bone, just bursting towards tomorrow. And his laughter fills my world and there's your smile. I will see you in the light of 1,000 suns. I will hear you in the sound of the waves. I will know you when I come as we all go through the doors beyond the grave. All alone, I came into this world. All alone, I someday die. Solid stones, just sand and water, baby. Sand and water, and a million years gone by. Sand and water, and a million years gone by.
Hello and good evening. My name is Lucy. I'm a social worker
with Day City Hospice, and I also have the pleasure of working with a couple different hospices within our company. On behalf of Day City Hospice, we would like to give you a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us for our celebration this evening. It is truly an honor to have cared for your loved one and to have shared in a part of their life's journey. Thank you again for joining us as we honor and remember them this evening. May you feel blessed and encouraged. This evening, we would like to recognize your loss, remember your loved one, reaffirm your beliefs, and find an outlet for release. I am grateful to Route Song Funeral Home for allowing us to honor those who have gone before us as a community. Our theme this evening is Ripples of Love. I would like to share a word by Eleanor Roosevelt to move us into the rest of our service. It is not only by the answers we find, but by the questions we continue to ask, that we are led to hope, and that love, like the tide, returns.
Always in my heart. Sometimes in life there are losses that can never be replaced. Losing you has been the hardest thing I've ever had to live with. I wasn't ready to say goodbye. I wasn't ready to let you leave. I would give anything for just one more day, just one more second, but I've learned to trust in unconditional love. Because the one profound thing about death is that love never dies. Some bonds cannot be broken, because even though you're not physically here, your heart is. It lives on within me.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Spencer, and one of the chaplains with Day City will love to read the next poem. A single life, a single touch, a hand we held, a voice we trust. Though silence now has found its place, the love remains, it fills the space. Like ripples from a skipping stone, the echoes of their life are known. The kindness shared in a gentle tone, the love moves out from us and carries on. It steers the stillness, soft and wide, through every act where hearts confide. They're gone from view, but not from soul. The ripples of love reach and echo on. May the joy of the Lord be your strength in this time.
You'll remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in its jealous sky when we walk in fields of gold. So she took her love for to gaze and walk among the fields of barley. In his as her hair came down among the fields of gold. Will you stay with me? Will you be my love among the fields of barley? You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. I never made promises lightly, and there have been some I've broken, but I swear the days for that we'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold. Many years have passed since those summer days among the fields of barley. See the children run as the sun goes down, as you lie in fields of gold. You'll remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in its jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold. When we walked in fields of gold.
Good evening, my name is Teresa Roush, and I'm the volunteer coordinator at Day City. Thank you all for being here. How do I live without you? Because I believe that death did not sever the love we shared. It flows on forever. You are with me still in a gentler way, in the hush of night, in the light of day. Your love is the lifeblood, I quietly sip, a steadying force with each breath and each step. Though I can't see you, no matter how near, I feel you in beauty, in laughter, and tears. Just as a teardrop can mirror the skies, so too your reflection lives on in my eyes. And when I place my hand to my chest, I feel you there, and my heart beats crest. I know you still hear me. I know you still see. You visit in dreams and in memory. The bond that we share defies any end. It ripples through time again and again. The veil that divides us is quiet and thin, and your love finds a way to shine its light in. I tell your story, I speak your name. To carry your light is my joy and my aim. Grief may weigh heavy, but still I move through. Each step that I now take for two. Though pain marks the shape of the love that I bear, it's proof of the depth of the life we once shared. I'm learning to live with this love redefined, in each beat, in each breath. And we echoed that heart. You made a difference. You matter. You are near. And all that still matters is
Good evening, I'm Chaplain Lisa. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for allowing us to be here with you to honor your loved one. As the theme this evening is ripples of love, your loved one and the impact that they have will continue to be shared with others, and that's our focus this evening. It's easy to define and explain a ripple effect. In essence, it symbolizes the idea that our actions carry on beyond the initial occurrence. A ripple represents an ongoing impact of events, sometimes ideas, emotions, that continue to extend past us. Sometimes it can even show us how everything in this world is in some way, shape, or form connected. The ripple effect is physics. Now I'll admit, I haven't been in school for physics for quite some time, but ripples are essentially waves that causes energy to go through water without permanently changing the water itself. Ripples of love, however, can. Depending upon your beliefs, whether it's spiritual or emotional, these ripples can change us. These ripples of love can make all the difference in the world to someone. They can have the power to change our way of thinking, altering our perspective. Love does have the ability to permanently change you. The harder question, though, is how do you define love? What is your love language? Sometimes it's easier to recognize it in someone else. Some people are so in tune with what's going on around them that it comes naturally. They don't even try. So when you point something out to someone and you say, this is your love language, they might say, what? But I always do that. Exactly. That's the point. Love can be defined with a focus on selfless, sacrificial actions with a commitment to someone else's well-being. You may be familiar with 1 Corinthians chapter 13:4. It's usually said with weddings, and it defines what love is. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. But love looks different for different people, right? Let me share a couple of examples. A family once shared with me that their father's love language was making them sit at the dining room table before they were allowed to go out. They had to share the plan. Some of you may be familiar with that. Where are you going? How are you getting there? When are you coming home? How are you getting home? Who are you going to call in an emergency? And they had to go over that plan. Of course, the girls at the time, you can imagine, were frustrated. Their friends were out waiting in the driveway. They wanted to get going. But of course, they had to go over the plan. And as I was driving home that day, as they were sharing that ripple of love that just randomly came to their mind that they shared with me that happened years before, I had my own. like I said, as I was driving home, I remember, I come back from the day when if you wanted to get from point A to point B, you had to pull out a map. And you had to have real good eyesight, right? To see that map and see the names of those little streets. If your map wasn't updated wherever it was, you weren't going there because you didn't know how to get there. This map also was made of paper. That doesn't happen much anymore, right? So my father would unfold this map. And it seemed like it wouldn't stop, right? For those of you who may be familiar with that, it just didn't stop. To get it refolded was like a Rubik's Cube. Not all of us can do that. And, but my father, and we must have been rotten for him to do this. He had it planned to where we were going from point A to point B. He knew exactly how long it would take us to get there. We had to be on our P's and Q's. And I will tell you, my friends, that continued as we aged, as we would go on vacations. Drove to Niagara Falls one time. Dad said, call me at your first stop. Little did he know that I called on the other side of Columbus, because that was our first stop. We were playing with the dog at our stop. Dad said, what's wrong? We weren't supposed to stop yet. What's going on? I said, what's our first stop? He said to call. Call me when you get out of Ohio now. But that love language continues. When I see him now, to this day, I think of that. Another example, I was not eavesdropping, but I happened to overhear something. I was somewhere and I was walking down the hall, and a lovely lady there, Catholic faith, strong in her beliefs. She was very, she loved sharing her faith, and was very open with the love that she had to share with others. And weekly, she loved to pray the rosary with a group of people that would get together. Sometimes they would have communion. I was happening by, and I heard a man's voice say, but she isn't here yet. We can't start. This group of friends told the priest that he couldn't start praying the rosary or give communion yet because the friend had not arrived. There's a couple of different ripples of love there, right? The first being someone sharing their faith and being such a good friend that her friends knew her so well that they stopped a service in her honor. That man, who I couldn't pick out of the crowd, I didn't know him, the ripple of love that he demonstrated has stayed with me. That's the type of effect that we all have on people. We don't always know it. Love is not always some great big grand gesture. If you think of a body of water, and that ripple effect only included those huge, monumental, knock you off your feet events, it would be beautiful, right? But when you add in those ordinary, day-to-day things that we all experience, you don't always recognize it at the time. That water's going to look like storms coming through, isn't it? Like I said, it's those little things, holding hands, getting a cup of coffee, making sure the gas tank is filled. It's about laughing with a friend. An extra tip for a server who is obviously having a bad day. And in the sense of grief, we struggle at sometimes to manage those waves of love. We can be doing something so ordinary, kind of boring, simple in the grand scheme of things, and we'll get hit with something that feels like a wall of emotion. Sometimes with little or no warning, and we can react to having a feeling that overwhelms us. There's all different types of people here, all different types of backgrounds. Perhaps you feel that you are unable to relate to others in this aspect of ripples of love because maybe you had a difficult relationship. I offer you this to consider. If the relationship you had was challenging for whatever reason, is it possible to accept that your loved one loved the best way they could, the best way they knew how, even though it was not ideal? You may even discover that you are grieving what could have been, what should have been. But is there enough grace to accept that they did the best they could? No one can answer that except for you. Maybe your loved one was not who they used to be before the disease set in. Their personalities changed. Their relationship changed. But one thing to remember with ripples of love is that it goes both ways. Your ability to care for your loved one, probably when you yourself were struggling to take care of yourself, is what keeps those ripples of love in motion. You may not have realized it, but in a situation like that, you were the ones that were keeping the ripples of love in motion, meeting others where they were. So can you control a ripple? My first question would be, do you have to? Is it because the timing is inconvenient? Maybe you don't feel strong, or maybe you're not even in a place where you feel like you're safe to do so, and that happens. You can change the trajectory of that ripple. Sometimes if you do it too much, it can cause confusion and anxiety because you are fighting against the norms of what your body is trying to tell you to do. We experience that when we try to smush the pain down instead of experiencing that. We're only alike. Friends, I cannot be the only person that's ever done that. I read somewhere that we do not go through grief, but rather we absorb it. That made a lot of sense to me. When the force of energy needs to leave our body in the form of grief, it is difficult, if not impossible, to always control. Truly, for the love for those who have passed, love does not change. Our love for them continues. It doesn't stop. Just like a wave, it does not stop. I encourage you to think of all the ways your loved one showed their love and then share that memory with someone. In our day-to-day lives, sometimes it's difficult to imagine that we have or that we are sending out our own ripples of love to be remembered. We get so caught up in responsibilities, don't we? Getting through the day, getting through the week, getting to the weekend. Sometimes we need to stop and remember that our actions have the potential for far-reaching results without us even knowing it sometimes. In closing, I'm going to ask that you use your imagination. If If you feel comfortable, I invite you to close your eyes. I'm not gonna miss anything up here. I'm gonna fling my hands around a little bit. That's gonna be it. So if you feel comfortable, please close your eyes. I want you to imagine that you are lakeside. You open up the palm of your hand and you see that it is filled with pebbles. Each pebble represents an act of love, an act of patience, an act of kindness that you have shared. Imagine, one by one, you are tossing a pebble into the lake. And as you do, you can see the ripples just flow out. Who are these ripples reaching? You can see the lake all around it has people, as far as you can see, all lined around the lake. Immediately you see faces you recognize, family, friends, loved ones. But quite frankly, the lake is so big, the ripples are reaching out so far. Do you know them all? This love is what you're sending out to the world. What's even more amazing is that the pebbles in your hand, they never run out. That's the opportunity in each of us. Like I said, we don't even always know when we've made a positive impact on someone. Remember, it doesn't have to be a grand gesture or for someone we even know. It's a smile. It's holding a door, encouraging someone, overhearing a conversation. That's the power that we have to send out into this world every day. That power that has greater impact. Ripples that don't ever stop. The ripple effect, symbolizing the idea that our actions carry on beyond the initial occurrence. Please open your eyes. I know that there is tragedy every day in the news. And if we are not careful, we can become weighed down by things beyond our control. But don't be deceived. There's a lot of love out there, a lot of good being done. Whenever you doubt that, think of the ripples still going through time from your loved one. The ripples still going through time that you are creating yourself. Amen. Amen.
Your love, it will
name is Haley. I'm the bereavement coordinator with Bay City Hospice. And I'm honored to be sharing this community with you all tonight. Someone I love has gone away, and life is not the same. The greatest gift that you can give is just to speak their name. I need to hear the stories and the tales of days gone past. I need for you to understand these memories must last. We cannot make more memories since they're no longer here. So when you speak of them to me, it's music to my ears. Let us now speak the names and honor all of those that we have loved and whose loss weighs heavy on our spirits. Upon hearing your loved one's name, you are welcome to join me here in the front of the room to light a candle in their memory. If you'd prefer, please remain seated, and we would be honored to light a candle on your behalf. Barbara Gordon. Barb Metcalf. Donald Price. Harriet Frederick. Helen Brush.
Repeat your comment, please.
Irene Zoners. John Reynolds. John B. Lincoln III. John Kostecki. Kenneth Harlow. Linda Grooms. Mary Parker. Patricia Polsky.
Light one for me, please.
Sandra Love. Stephen Benson. Tim Rader. William Truesdale. Roger Young. Chad Snow. Eva Rock. Don Chrisinger. We cherish the special place in our hearts that will always be reserved for you. We thank you for the gift your life brought to each one of us. Let us all take another moment to remember all of those that we have lost that were not mentioned today, but that their loss still weighs heavy on our hearts.
Hello, my name is Chad, And I work with Day City Hospice in Green City and such. I'm a chaplain. I've been for about 14 years. I also serve as the director of our spiritual care team. And I first want to thank each of you. I know many of us haven't met yet. I understand that. But what you have demonstrated tonight needs to truly be recognized by yourself. That you demonstrated courage. I'm sure that there were some families that thought about coming, but then maybe sometimes you don't want to relive certain things in your mind. So I want to thank you because that honors your loved one. What you experienced with the death of your loved one is one of, if not the hardest experiences that you will have in life. So profound that it changes you in such a way. That's why so few people let their mind sometimes go and imagine a time without their loved one. And now you're here on the other side of where you didn't want to be before your loved one passed. I just have a couple of, it's not homework, but it is maybe some nuggets that might help someone. Every body experiences loss. From the time we're little until we age. So you have compounded losses through your life. I'm trying to figure out how to live life now. For some of us, is a brand new thing. I don't expect to know everybody's worldview, so to speak. But I personally believe that there is an evil one. And he's a bully. He's a punk. And he will try to do everything that he can to throw, yeah, but you know if that you should have, ... Or if you would have only, we might have had another couple more years. But woulda, shoulda, couldas. We've been around for a very long time. My advice and my prayer for you is that you do not take the bait. We are all human and we all have a tipping point. Many of you are caregivers, and it's one of the hardest jobs on planet Earth. Physically and mentally, and emotionally and spiritually. Real person. So wherever you are on your grief journey, and it is a journey, and you will remember your loved one until you leave Earth. The ripple effect that my friend Lisa shared is extremely profound. And if you were to see another image of when it rains, there's so many raindrops. Each one of those raindrops creates its own ripple effect, which some of those touch the other, the one beside it, and then the one here, as it is with your grief. You're never going to outgrow it. But you can. You can remember them well. You can honor them by how you live. And you can resort to healthy coping. Sometimes unhealthy coping is easier because it feels good at the moment and it numbs the pain. Do not isolate yourselves. Some people have greater friend groups than others. Some don't. Be kind to yourself. It's easier to be kind to others. Allow yourselves to feel what you feel when it comes on, unless you just somehow have to check out to get through the moment to then resume it. But you're going to have roommates of feelings, anger, to rage, possibly to I didn't do enough, to anxiety, to kind of like the movie Inside Out, and all of us. And do something in their memory. So that's lighting a candle on a birthday, cooking a favorite meal of theirs, even if you didn't like it, and it was their favorite. Figure out how to change it a little. Helen Keller is quoted for these words: "What we have once enjoyed deeply, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes a part of us." Again, I want to thank you for that. We have food, we have drinks. Some of you might have to roll out, we understand. We have staff to talk to, and we'd love to hear some stories maybe of your loved one. It's our hope that you have a meaningful year filled with peace, hope, and love. When you do depart, at whatever time you feel like you want to go, there is a gift bag that we want to give each of you. It has a flat stone in it. It's a skipping stone. And an incredible poem. This stone is a symbol, just as a skipping stone sends ripples across still water. So too does the love of those we've lost continue to move through our lives. In every act of kindness, every shared story, every quiet moment of remembering, you are invited to hold this stone when you miss them. You can skip it across a body of water, place it somewhere meaningful, let its ripples remind you that love does not end, it echoes.
This concludes the more formal part of what we've been doing. And so take your time to mingle, eat, be you.